So I've just put together my June TBR, and I think it's a little bit overambitious. Hang around to find out what I'm planning on reading. Well, hey friends, my name is Roger and welcome to my channel, Rogers Reads. So last month I limited my TBR to 6 books, I think, and I ended up reading 15 books during the month of May. And being on vacation really helped with this. Very often I would read for a couple of hours in the afternoon. Walk around all morning, do the sightseeing, take a couple of hours in the afternoon, read, go out for dinner, explore a little bit more, and then read for another hour or two before bed. So I ended up reading like 6 books just while I was on vacation. So this month I am coming at you with a more ambitious TBR. I'm not going to go into too much detail about each individual book because I tend to do more of that during my hauls and my wrap-ups. Plus I'm working kind of on a secret video with some of the books. I don't want to go into too much detail right now and tell you why I'm reading them. So first off, I'm reading a bunch of books, 6 in fact, for the Read Your Gaze Readathon hosted by Boston Reads Books. And I'll put a link to her channel down below. And that goes until, well, it's already in progress by the time you're watching this. And it goes from June 3rd to the June 10th. And I'll put a link above to my TBR video for that. So the first book that I'm going to read is entitled How Not to Ask a Boy to Prom by S.J. Gosley. So this follows Nolan Grant, who somehow ends up fake dating a boy who's bullied him in the past. So sounds kind of intriguing. The next book is We Contain Multitudes by Sarah Henstra. So all I know about this one really is that it follows 2 boys who have to write letters to one another as part of a weekly pen pal assignment, probably from at school. And as we can guess, feelings begin to develop between them that eventually grow into love. But I think there's also issues here of bullying and homophobia that they have to deal at school and maybe at home. But yeah, it sounded really good, so I'm looking forward to reading it, and that's why I added it to my read-along. So the next book that I'm reading is called The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli. And I don't have a physical copy of this book because I'm reading it in ebook format. Now I've been meaning to read this one for quite some time. And this follows Molly, a plus-sized gal, and her lesbian sister Cassie. Now her sister ends up getting a girlfriend, and when she does, Molly begins to feel kind of lost, kind of left out. But as it turns out, Cassie's new girlfriend comes with a cute hipster boy sidekick named Will. So Molly now plans to try to win Will over so that she can get that first kiss that has always evaded her. But the problem is that Molly is all of a sudden finding her co-worker Reed to be exceptionally attractive. So as always, I'm a big fan of Becky Albertalli. I enjoy her work, so I'm looking at, and I've heard a lot of good things about this book too, so I'm looking forward to delving into it. So the next book that I'm reading is entitled Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. And I actually have this in audiobook format, so I'm going to be listening to this book this month. And I've heard a lot of great things about it. So this follows Frances, a bisexual girl who meets Aled, the demisexual creator of her favorite podcast. So Frances ends up opening up to Aled, but somehow her confidences go viral, and I imagine all sorts of chaos ensues. But yeah, I've heard a lot of high praise for this book, so I'm looking forward to getting a chance to reading it. This is actually part of the Read Your Gaze readathon that I'm partaking in this month. So the next book on my list is entitled When the Moon Was Ours, written by Anna Marie McLemore. This follows a trans character named Sam who is assigned female at birth and has selected for some reason to live as a boy until puberty. Either that or this decision was made for him for some reason. Now, Sam has come to realize that now he is not living as a boy, he is a boy, and he feels like he's a boy, and he has no desire whatsoever to go back to his initially designated gender. So because of this, I do believe that there's some sort of blackmail involved at the hand of his sisters. So yeah, this has actually been on my shelf for quite a while. So I'm happy that I'm finally getting an opportunity to read it. All right, next up is I Wish You All the Best by Mason Deaver. So this is actually part of the Read Your Gaze readathon. So all I know about this one is that one of the characters, Ben, I do believe, comes out to their parents as non-binary. They're thrown out of the house and forced to move in with their estranged sister and her husband. Now Ben, all he wants to do is finish off the school year with his head down unnoticed. But those plans are somewhat thwarted when Nathan Allen, a funny and charismatic student, decides to take Ben under his wing. So as we can guess, their feelings for each other begin to change, leading up to an interesting turn of events. And I've been hearing a lot about this book recently on BookTube, so I'm looking forward to this. So next up is a book entitled A Dog's Purpose by W. Bruce Cameron. We're actually reading this month for my in-person book club, and it follows a dog named Bailey through several lives as he attempts to discover his life's purpose. Now, I've heard that this book is a weapons-grade tearjerker. I mean, how can it not be, given that it's about a dog who dies over and over again? So, yes, this is probably not a book that I would have chosen. I do love animals, but I don't like tear-jerking books about animals. But yeah, that being said, I'm looking forward to reading it. And I actually did pick up the second book in this series, A Dog's Journey, I do believe. So I'll probably end up reading that as well, unless I dislike this one. So the next book on my list is entitled With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. So I've heard some high praise about this book as well, and it was actually my Book of the Month Club selection last month. And when I saw it was featured, I definitely added it to my box. So Elizabeth Acevedo is also the author of The Poet X, another one of my all-time favorite books. So this follows a young woman who has a little daughter and who dreams of becoming a chef one day. So she starts cooking, even though she really has no faith that her dream could ever become a reality given the current situation that she's in. But as she starts cooking, some magical things begin to happen. And that's really all I know about this book, and I can't wait to delve into it because I love Elizabeth Acevedo. I also love books about cooking and baking and books set in restaurants and bakeries and such, so I'm thinking this one will be right up my alley. All right, so next up is actually an advanced reader copy that I was sent, and this is called Magic for Liars by Sarah Gailey. And all I know about this one is that it follows two sisters, one who has magic and one who does not. The one without, her name is Ivy, I do believe, is actually a detective and is called in to the Osthorne Academy of Young Mages where there is a murder. So according to the back, we say everyone has a secret. Murder, mystery, madness, and magic. So, sounds good. So the next book on my list is another advanced reader copy that was sent to me, and it's entitled The Summer Cottage by Viola Shipman. And the reason that I requested this is that it takes place in Saugatuck, Michigan, a place that I used to vacation quite often at when I was younger. And I never failed. I always had a fantastic time in Saugatuck. So this book follows Adie Lou, who leaves her cheating husband and life behind and decides to kind of reinvent herself and restore an old cottage on Lake Michigan that she's inherited. So I love the running away and rebuilding your life trope, like what was the name of that book? Under the Tuscan Sun. That comes to mind. So yeah, so I love that premise. So I'm really looking forward to getting into this one. So the next book on my list is a book entitled Infinity by Sherilyn Kenyon. So this is the first book in the Chronicles of Nick series, and I've read other books by this author, and I've really enjoyed them. So I do believe that this is kind of similar, or the world here is kind of similar to Cassandra Clare's Shadowhunters, but don't quote me on that. But I'll be talking a lot more about this book in another video. Number 12 on my list is a book entitled The Novice by Taryn Mathau. And this is the first book in the Summoner series, a series that I've been wanting to get to for quite some time. And again, I'm going to be talking a lot more about this book in another video, so I'm not going to go into it too in depth here. Just mention that it is on my list. Number 13, it's heavy, is the Luminary Files, written by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. And this I've been meaning to get through for quite some time. I actually bought all three of them because I've heard such good things about them, and I figured that I probably would like them, fingers crossed. So all I know about this series is that it's a sci-fi series, and at least this book is told in a unique format of text, emails, interviews, documents, reports, looks like drawings, lists. So, yeah. Plus the book is beautiful. I love the cover. But yeah, very cool. So that I'm going to hopefully we'll get to in June, but if not, I'm going to put it on July's TBR because I do want to read this series. And last but not least is The Sword of Summer, written by Rick Riordan. So this is the first book in Rick Riordan's middle grade trilogy featuring Magnus Chase. It's the Magnus Chase series, Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard. So I've been wanting to read this for a while too. Yeah, so hopefully I will get to it this month as well. Oh wait, there's one more book I forgot about. Let me go get it. Okay, I got it. And the name of this is entitled My Favorite Thing is Monsters. Who is the author? Ebel Ferris. And I actually picked this up from the library, but it's a graphic novel that I've been wanting to read because I've seen a couple of people talk about it in the reviews. So my favorite thing of Monsters, it's a fictional graphic diary of 12-year-old Karen Reyes, and I really like the illustrations. It looks like a lot of fun. So the book is kind of filled with movie horror and pulp monster magazines iconography. So our heroine, 10-year-old Karen, tries to solve the murder of her upstairs neighbor who is a Holocaust survivor, while the interconnected stories of those around her begin to unfold in the process. So Karen's investigation takes her back to her neighbor's life in Nazi Germany, and the reader in the process discovers how the personal, political, and the past and the present all converge. Yeah, and so again, I've heard some good things about this. So, and it should be a relatively fast read given that it's a graphic novel. But yeah, is that 16, I think? 16 books on my list for this month? Yes, definitely an overambitious TBR. We'll see how I do. I am going to try to read 6 books during the week of June 3rd to the 10th for the Read Your Gaze Readathon. So we'll see. I'm hoping to get through most of them, in fact. But yeah, but you never know. Summers are kind of busy, and I'm kind of behind on everything because of my vacation. I was gone for a week and a half, so put me behind. I haven't even done my May wrap-up yet, so you should be seeing that within the next few days. But yeah, so that about does it. How about you? What are you reading in June? Let me know in the comments. And I think that about does it. As always, I thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all your support. And if you like this video, I'd appreciate it if you click the like button below, as it really helps my channel out. And if you'd like to be notified whenever I release new videos, hit the subscribe button and then click the bell icon. And that way YouTube will let you know. And that about does it. I will talk to you in the next video. Roger and out.